Welcome to the film school, bitches. You guys ready to cook? That's right. I'm talking about El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie. That's what we're going to talk about right now.
I don't know what to tell you. I ain't said like 500 times already. I have no idea where he is. Don't know where he's headed either. North, south, west, east, Mexico, the moon. I don't have a clue. But yo, even if I did, who wouldn't tell you? Because I've been watching the news, same as everybody else. I seen that little cage of his they kept him in. I heard about what all they did to him to make sure he kept cooking. So sorry. I don't know what to tell you. No way I'm helping you people put Jesse Pinkman back inside a cage.
Yeah, this is an awesome movie.
Yeah, it was. Very well done. I liked it a lot. Brought it all together very nicely.
Yep. If you have not seen Breaking Bad, then this movie on Netflix will make no sense to you. This is definitely a movie that is intended as a direct follow-up of the television series that ran from 2008 to 2013, 5 seasons on AMC. It's a phenomenal show. Brought Bryan Cranston to the foreground, like Giancarlo Esposito. There's so many awesome actors in it. What's his name who plays Mike? He's also on the spinoff Better Call Saul.
Oh, it's like John.
I've forgotten his name. He was on Community for a season too. He's a really good actor.
It's in the original Beverly Hills Cop.
A lot of other 80s movies, man. A lot of 70s too.
A lot of those old Walter Hill movies. Mm-hmm. Like, I think he's in 48 Hours. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So just literally, we're going to get into some spoilers here so I can get the setup. So, spoilers. So, spoiler wizard for you. Picking up like immediately where Breaking Bad ended, Jesse, our anti-hero Jesse Pinkman, gains his freedom after being shackled for and enslaved for a year?
Yeah, it was like a
solid year. And the whole movie's basically his odyssey to escape the law and to escape his past. And I thought it was a fantastic film.
Basically start over, yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid ending to Breaking Bad. It really, you'd watch Breaking Bad, then you'd watch El Camino, then you'd watch Better Call Saul, because it takes place in between. But I got to tell you, though, man, Robert Forster, that was bittersweet, because I love that guy ever since The Black Hole. And, of course, Jackie Brown.
Yeah, Max Cherry.
And, of course, he was Arthur Petrelli in the season 3 of Heroes, which was interesting to see him play a bad guy. But it was kind of bittersweet because, he just passed away and shortly before this was released. So that was kind of sad, but it was a good last performance with a very interesting character, right, that you'd only heard about in the show, but you'd never seen him. So that was kind of a nice surprise. But, yeah, very, very nicely done. I felt like it was completely consistent with the tone and the visual aesthetics of the television series.
Yeah, I thought they followed that very well. It's directed by Vince Gilligan, of course, the show creator. So,
I think this is his first feature. So I'm sure I know he's directed some episodes. Pilot and stuff like that.
Breaking Bad,
but I think this is his first feature film. I think this is why Better Call Saul was delayed this year.
But he was the writer on the X. He did a lot of writing for the X-Files.
Yeah, he was one of the main writers of the X-Files. And there's 5 or 6 main writers. Right. He's the only one that wasn't able to come back for the last 2 seasons of the X-Files because he was busy doing Better Call Saul. And I think that's the reason why there was no Better Call Saul this year, is because he was really taking his time in crafting this film, which I think a lot of people wanted to see but never expected to see. Like, what happens to Jesse? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't even hear about it until there's this Breaking Bad movie coming on Netflix. I'm like, what? Really?
Right.
So yeah, I watched the trailer and I was like, holy shit, yeah.
This looks awesome. I think that they kind of kept that under wraps, and I think on purpose, just to sort of like throw at you because you're like, what is Vince Gilligan doing that's keeping him from doing Better Call Saul? I love Better Call Saul, just so you understand. I love it as much as Breaking Bad. I think that it is a fantastic show, and I'm bummed out that I haven't seen any this year, but this actually kind of makes up for that for me. So just to get back into that world, like just once a year, man, just give it to me. However, I hope one day he goes back and does some more writing for the X-Files should they come back. We don't know if it's done for good or if it'll be back, because I like the way he writes. I like the way he creates his story arcs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Very good stuff. I'm definitely going to give that a 3.5 stars out of 4, just because. Again, the only drawback is you can't just show this to the uninitiated. Like if you have even the recap, even like the 4-minute recap at the beginning.
If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, I wouldn't even bother even trying to watch it because
swipe right
will not make sense. But
whichever, I don't. My right, your left.
But if you haven't watched Breaking Bad, you need to be slapped too. So hey.
Whoa, it's some intense fandom. I'm inclined to agree though. No, you should really watch Breaking Bad if you haven't seen it, because it's one of the shows that I think helped redefine television for the latter half of the noughties of the 2000s. There were a lot of shows happening that were doing that, and I think it goes into the pantheon. I'm usually like a sci-fi comedy guy. Like I don't watch too many shows that are sort of grounded in reality. But with Breaking Bad, it really grasped me. It felt like it was a cross between like a Coen Brothers with a little dash of Tarantino in there, and maybe even some Polanski. Like it's kind of an artier, darker, grittier TV show.
Yeah, that scene towards the end of the movie where he goes back to get the money from those dudes, that kind of like the shootout scene was very cool. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of it was a little bit Tarantino, a little spaghetti western maybe. For sure, yeah. It was badass. It was very cool.
And I got to be honest, Jesse Pinkman during the first, I think, 2 seasons of Breaking Bad was one of my least favorite characters, because he was obnoxious, and that was the whole point of the character, right? And I think as it went on and he got more into his personal life and his struggle, and how like, whoops, we've gone too far with this, and this Walter White guy's a little crazy, and I'm trying to get out. Like, he's grown on me as a character, and so I did care after the end of the series. Like, he escaped. Good for him. But what happens to him next? So I loved how this picked up right at that same moment. Like, you could almost edit the two together and it would just be like a really long movie.
Right. Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was so good. Plus the flashbacks with characters that are gone, you know, and they're not flashbacks from the show. They're like original scenes as flashbacks with Walter White and Jessica Jones. What's her name? Jessica, or the Ritter.
Oh, Kristen Ritter, yeah.
Apologies. Like her character, Jesse's girlfriend that Walter killed. Oh, man.
That episode was mess, dude. I was just like,
brutal.
Damn.
Brutal. Yeah. Can't stress this enough, man. I think if it wasn't for shows like Mad Men and Breaking Bad and they're cable, but they're basic cable, but they were... like network shows, they had commercials, and they still push the boundaries, competing with like HBO, which have no real content boundaries. They can pretty much do whatever they want.
Right.
So to have network shows like Mad Men and Breaking Bad and The Walking Dead to be able to push those boundaries, it along with HBO and maybe Showtime, possibly Skinamax, and Stars, sort of forced the networks to like ante up their game. So Breaking Bad is an important series, I think. I think it's a critical series. I would think that and maybe Twin Peaks would be the only 2 TV shows, and maybe documentary now, the only 3 TV shows that should get like Criterion releases. Like, I know that they typically stick with movies, but they did do the Beastie Boys collection from their first, or from Check Your Head, or Ill Communicated, Paul's Boutique, all the way to Hello Nasty. So
Carlos was like basically a TV.
Yeah, World on a Wire.
TV too.
That was World on a Wire by Fassbinder. That was also a German miniseries, and so they have done stuff like that. In fact, the old Criterion DVDs, where the logo was at the top before the circle or the C in the corner, they did have a collection called the Golden Age of Television, which is like 4 hours of like vintage television shows, or maybe it's only 2 hours. But so why not? I think Breaking Bad deserves that kind of. It's critical. Like if you're a cinema lover and you don't really care much for television shows, Breaking Bad might change that, because it feels like an extremely long movie, but it doesn't really feel like a television series. Right. I think that's at the moment where I realized that like film and television have sort of caught up to one another, because you can film in widescreen and you can have the same aspect ratio and the same scenery and the same type of shots that you can in films that television tried to emulate, but it was hard to do that in the 4:9 whatever aspect ratio. So
16:9.
16:9.
Whatever.
So.
But yeah, you guys definitely need to check out El Camino. Highly recommend it.
Satisfying too. Very satisfying ending.
Yes, very.
Especially the last few moments. It's just like, wow, this is a good story. Again, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars out of 4.
I'm gonna give this one 4. I really liked it. So
there you go.
4 out of 4.
Again, my only criticism is you have to watch Breaking Bad to get this movie. So do it. And let us know what you think. If you guys happen to catch this, if you liked seeing Skinny and Badger again, I know I did, with the Star Trek captain chairs and like the Enterprise and the what was it? No, was it a Cardassian? No, it wasn't a Cardassian. She was a Romulan ship. I should know that. Just seeing those guys again made me really happy. So awesome movie. And you know what? For clocking in at 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes. I think it's about 2:10. It didn't feel like it. It really moved.
I actually think it's just 2 hours, but whatever.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it though. Sometimes one of the things that worried me is, will this feel like an overlong episode? No. It's good. But thanks for joining us. Let us know what you think.
Yes, please like and subscribe, please.
And we'll see you on the next episode. Biatches.
And that boy grew up to be Jesse Pinkman.